Hello everyone, my name is Michael Bushman and welcome back to Master Duel. And here I am playing a new deck. You've seen the thumbnail. Believe me when I say I tried to search for spicier art for this video and basically this mini series of videos going forward. Unfortunately, I couldn't find them, and the ones that I did find are either too horny or too tame for my tastes. These are the ones on the thumbnail are the ones that well, at least are up to par with my kinks and standards. So we're here with the new quote-unquote season of Master Duel with yours truly, and I will be playing Yubel, one of the decks that took the big tournaments by storm, especially at Worlds, I believe. If I remember correctly, the champion was a Yubel Fiendsmith deck. I have to look back on it in my own time because, good God, I'm not going to do it here because my laptop is already slow enough. But Yubel is one of those decks that just I personally did not expect this deck to reach the heights that it did, but non-traditional removal is still non-traditional removal, and non-traditional removal is far harder to come by in this game compared to the typical ways that you will remove creatures on board, because in order to really beat this deck, you need stuff that either banishes it or you just need to make it send straight up to the graveyard. You must never ever use the word destroy on anything in this deck, because that will give them value like there's no tomorrow. Now, I have been playing this deck for a week before recording today, and believe me when I say this deck is a lot harder to pilot than I initially thought. The lines are not as obvious at first. I mean, the most obvious one is, of course, the main win con of the deck to establish any of the main deck, well, 1 to maybe even 3 main deck Yubels of the main deck Yubels on board. Hell, maybe even just 1 is more than enough, because we will get to the OGs in a bit, much later. But basically getting Spirit of Yubel on board, and then Phantom of Yubel, and then backed up with hopefully back row and the select few hand traps that we have here. Other than that, yeah, this is a mid-range deck. Once again, taking the meta by storm, but this build in particular, I built it more for well, I've plus minus a couple of cards here and there, and some people there are discussions on ratios on some of the other cards, but more often than not, 5 Yubels are more than enough when it comes to ratios. And then the extra deck is usually to taste, but definitely the most important ones are the Phantoms of Yubel. The spiciest one I've seen so far is having this guy right here, one of my personal favorite cards, coming back into the game, and it still is, because who would have thunk they're having this Yubel or any of the 4 Yubels, they're all level 10s. Sadly, Phantom Yubel is level 9, but well, Loving Defender's level 12. I did not know that. So, like I said, main win con of the deck, just establish 3 Yubels on board. Hopefully your opponent has a monster with 3k attack, or, you know, if you fall short, that's what the Gustav is for. I would go over the card by card, but there was a World's champion that brought this all the way to the end, so I believe they have better authority in explaining the ins and outs of this deck than I ever will. So I will just provide the footnotes version, starting with Samsara the Lotus, a retrain of the Samsara Lotus, which is a busted-ass combo card, but this guy is just part of the Yubel archetype, quote-unquote archetype now. It special summons Yubel from the deck. Note that it summons Spirit of Yubel or the OG Yubel, and then when a monster's effect is activated, if I control Yubel, it becomes this is the deck's most common form of negation, where whatever effect your opponent activates, they turn into replacement effects instead. And then if it's in the graveyard, it can special summon itself, which is handy for a couple of applications later. But that's the floor of it. There are minor things that you can do with this guy, but again, there's a world champion that piloted this deck far better than I ever will, so there is that. We move on to the next card now, Gravescormer, a retrain of a card of, I believe, equal name. I don't quite remember the name of the OG card, but They gave him a quick effect. They basically turned this guy into a hand trap. There are discussions on ratios where it should be 1, 2, or hell, 9 at all. But 1 or 2 is usually more than enough, because otherwise this guy is a soft brick. The effect that I would more often use than not is the second line of text here, where you can banish him from the graveyard, special summon a fiend monster. Note that this is almost all of your feed monsters here. Well, almost all. Basically just most of the Yubel stuff. A lot of the Yubel stuff is have 0 attack, so he has synergy in that. I mean, if you're going to splash other fiends in this deck, just make sure they have 0 attack. He can revive them, as long as, of course, they don't have any summoning restrictions. And then you can also use Grave Squirmer to pop any of the Yubels and then to trigger their effects. And then the engine that is more often than not splashed in the Yubel deck is the Sacred Beast engine, of all things. I didn't know why at first, why they would do this. I assumed at first it was more for Sacrifice Fodder than anything else, and then I realized that Opening of the Spirit Gates has a line of text where it just special summons a fiend from the graveyard with 0 attack and defense. Normally it would be reserved for the Beckoning Beasts, the main deck, the small main deck monsters that are used as sacrifice fodder for the Sacred Beasts. But the insane thing here is if you have extra copies, you can use them as fodder for the second line of text here. Oh my god. So you can discard any of the excess Spirit Gates that you have in hand, or hell, even if you have the extra Nightmare Pains, even they can just be used as discard fodder, and then you can recycle them back if you have a level 10 monster. So apart from being discard fodder and tribute fodder, the 5-card Sacred Beast package here, it does far more for the deck than you think. And another engine that was splashed and was actually heavier on the splash until recently that people have begun to shave down on it is the Unchained engine. Is a small Unchained package. Has been reduced to just 3 at this point. This used to be like far fatter. Like there used to be more Sharvaras, or hell, there's even like a 60-40 split depending on who you want to on who you want to focus on more. Sometimes it's Unchained because in the games that I played, the Yubel cards link summon really well, so there's also that, and they pair really well with the Unchained because they're all fiends. And there are locks, there are fiend locks, I believe, somewhere in the deck, but it very rarely comes up. But Charvara is basically a far more expensive version of Grave Squirmer, if you can believe that. But again, having 3 Grave Squirmer is a little too bricky, so 2 or 1 is just fine. Charvara is just the body that in board states where you can't exactly kill your opponent, you would want at least 1 monster with a decent attack stat at the very least. And then we move on to the big boys. Boys, girls, I mean, they're androgynous for a reason, but the entire Yubel deck now revolves around the Spirit of Yubel, so it cannot be destroyed by battle, and hell, all of the main deck Yubels, they all can't be destroyed by battle and take no battle damage. And then they have other effects. The most important one for Spirit of Yubel here is if it's destroyed, special summon a Yubel, so usually the OG Yubel, and then it searches a spell trap that mentions Yubel. Usually it's only Nightmare Pain, because surprisingly Nightmare Throne doesn't count. I don't know why, but there it is. I just sort of live with it. And then when it also acts as a pseudo hand trap, where if the opponent attacks, you can just plop it down onto the field. Of course, they can negate it because it's not an inherent summon. And then the destruction effect, of course, floats into the OG Yubel. So the way to kill, like I said, is have a Phantom Nightmare and then have at least 3 Yubel monsters on the board, and then that will hopefully be lethal. Otherwise, use Gustav Max to finish them off. But so OG Yubel, it's a classic card at this point. A lot of people know it from the anime. The thing that you can do is, if the game gets grindy, you set up the OG Yubel, and then you stack the triggers in such a way that Samsara the Lotus gets itself onto the field first before Yubel does its sacrifice. So you basically have infinite sacrifice fodder with Samsara the Lotus, if and only if, of course, it's in your graveyard. And then, of course, Terror Incarnate It's literally just there as another name, although it acts as a once per turn board wipe. That's repeatable, by the way, but more often than not, it's just Link Father. Now, finally, moving on to the spells and traps, we almost have a 20 monster lineup, so that is... it could have been better. We could probably even add the final Yubel incarnation, which is Ultimate Nightmare, but I personally don't like it. There are also builds that have the one of Nibiru, but I really do not like one of board breakers. I prefer to have as many copies as possible. Like we see here, Feather Duster and Heavy Storm. Heavy Storm recently brought off the ban list. Now it's just a one of. I'm still pretty scared of back row decks because I built this deck more to I mean, yeah, tackling the meta and all. Okay, fine. That's for me at least. That's the easy part. But what about everyone else below it? That's why I still run the Super Polys. Most of the higher ranking Yubel decks don't even run this anymore. They don't have the Mud Dragon Garura package anymore. They just focus on the Yubels and then plus a bunch of other Link monsters to push game and whatnot. But yeah, Nightmare Throne is the first in archetype field spell, and of course beside 1-for-1, because a lot of the starters in this deck are well, just two in particular. They're level 1, so you can get them. You can even play this deck without ever using a normal summon. So there's also that. But moving back to Nightmare Throne, this deck basically supercharges the entire deck. If a Yubel would leave the field, note that leaving the field is basically at any point that a Yubel would just, you know, go in any other zone, and then you would summon a Yubel that is a level higher or a level lower than the one that left, and then you just special summon it, ignoring summoning conditions. So that's the second sentence. The first sentence is just a consistency booster. It takes any fiend that's attack or defense 0, and then you either add it to hand or you destroy it. So sometimes you would trigger Spirit of Yubel off of it, and then yeah, the second, and if it stays on the field, the second sentence is an insane grind engine when it comes to it. Then I already explained Spirit of the Gates. The Sacred Beast package is basically just recyclable fodder. Then Nightmare Pain is somewhat similar in concept to the Spirit Gates. It destroys a dark monster. Note that's any dark monster, by the way. And then you add a Yubel, and so in case you don't already see it, Nightmare Pain can destroy the spirits of Yubel that you have in hand in order to trigger their effects, and then have Yubel come out on the field. And then it's a consistency booster. And then this is the supporting piece of the win con, where your opponents must attack into a Yubel in order to they basically need to remove this or they will die. Otherwise, yeah, this is an amazing consistency piece for the Yubel deck. And then everything else is just tech cards, you know, Super Poly, because we have these guys. I'll get to them when we get to them. And of course, we have the Master Duel tax of 3 Maxi, 3 Ash Blossom, 3 Imperm, 2 Called By, 1 Cross Out. And then the last Unchained card that a lot of people are flip-flopping over, it's either Escape of the Unchained or the one that special summons from the graveyard. Most people would prefer this because and I'm going to tell you guys right now, the link lines for this deck is extremely wonky. Because more often than not, you don't really want to play too hard into either Ash Blossom or hell, even Max C. At that, more often than not, you would just rather, you know, aim for the floor, because summoning too much isn't really going to help you too well, unless of course you're going to try and win that turn. But otherwise, just being a more controlling, taking a more controlling stance with this deck is far better for me personally, compared to just being, you know, all out aggro and whatnot. So now for the extra deck, and now that we're here, Phantom of Yubel, it's basically a Link 0, as some people have called it. It's basically a quote-unquote negate as well, so similar to Samsara the Lotus, but this one also checks from the deck or hand. I believe Samsara Lotus only checks the field. Yes, Samsara Lotus only checks the field, and then Phantom of Yubel checks the hand or deck as well. So there is that. And similar to the other Yubels, they can also be a finisher. Then there's a one of in the deck, Yubel, the Loving Defender Forever. This is basically just a super poly target if I ever saw one. I did have a game where the opponent had like about 5 monsters on board, and then the Yubel was spared somehow. So, and then I drew super poly off the top, and then I literally just ate up the whole board. Then I wasn't able to kill them that turn, but I was able to, basically sap their will to live. And it also doesn't help that Loving Defender banishes the monsters it battles, so there's also that. And they look fabulous as fuck in this art as well. And then everything else is just tech cards. Mud Dragon of the Swamp as part of the Super Poly package, so is Garuda. And then, of course, in case you don't exactly hit for lethal and then your opponent is under 2,000 life points, you can use Gustav Max to finish them off, Almirage to send stuff to the graveyard, and of course, continuing with the Unchained package, you have Soul of Rage, Soul of Anguish, and of course, Lord of Yama. Lord of Yama is particularly interesting in this deck because it has a destroy clause as part of its effect. If something is destroyed by battle or card effect, and then it also searches an Unchained monster, but usually that's not important. It's just a Fiend monster that you can very easily link someone into, and then what's more important here is the second sentence here, and then of course SP Little Knight and Apollo USA, and then of course Access to Color as a way to clean up. Oh yeah, and Cross Sheep is here. Do note that Cross Sheep doesn't trigger when you summon Phantom Yubel to its arrow because it's not exactly a fusion summon. Just take note that there is literally no polymerizations in this deck at all. Well, non-traditional polymerizations at that. It can still probably be triggered if you set the super poly and then you summon Garuda onto a Link Arrow Cross Sheep points too, but that very rarely comes up. So yeah, that is this extremely scuffed quote-unquote deck overview of the Yubel deck. It's a lot better to see this deck in action so that you guys can see exactly how annoying this deck is going to be, especially against the rogue decks. This deck is very annoying against rogue decks, although it does have a 50-50 against the Snake Eyes matchup because it can fight through a lot, but it can't fight through being turned into worthless pieces of back row. That's probably why we have Heavy Storm. So I'll just see you guys in duels. Lost the die roll, so that's not going to bode well for me. So let's see what my opponent has. We have Imperm, we have Ash. Crossout Destiny is going to be good for our turn, and our turn only, unfortunately. But we do have a couple of we do have only one consistency tool, unfortunately. And this is as good a target as any for Ash Blossom Bait, so we will use Imperm instead. I believe the little guy is the one that they're really going to try and go for, but this is just their way of searching to field spell, and the more we minus them here, the harder of a time they're going to have, hopefully. But we're gonna see. Unless, of course, they were hoping for, I believe, one of the Scareclaw cards that revives with Rykart here. They could just go into the oh, okay, yeah. Oh, it's Manadium. Great. Manadium Scareclaw. We're great. They're gonna combo off. And we do have an Ash Blossom, so if they do try and do their search, we're gonna see target at level 2, sure. They're gonna keep synchro climbing. If they do summon another non-tuner, because they don't have a non-tuner at the moment, and we're gonna see what they're gonna do from here. These guys have fallen off pretty goddamn hard on the rank. I very rarely see them on the rank ladder nowadays, in my personal experience. But because Snake Eyes is all over the goddamn place. There's literally nothing else on the rank ladder than just it's all Snake Eyes from here. Add a spell trap. Oh, cool. Unless you have something else. No. Okay, that's a good target an Ash Blossom for as any. Unless, of course, you have a Called by the Grave, in which case I will just hit the off in pressing priority here. I literally have nothing else I can do, unless, of course, you have something that destroys a card in my hand, which is highly unlikely. So we're gonna see how far you go here, opponent. Otherwise, I might kill you this turn. We're gonna see, because you left, you nearly left a good enough target up there. Alright, Lightheart. Okay, he'll still be able to combo off, but he has lost a lot of advantage. And, but I believe getting to the field spell is, decent enough. Unless, of course, he has other engines splashed into this. Manadium Scareclaw is, a combo deck that I don't really get to see too often now. So it's a nice change of pace, at least, from seeing Snake Eyes all the time. So, okay, yep, he does that. Alright, so they're gonna combo off here, and I'll just see you guys at the beginning of my turn. Okay, we're back. I have no idea where my opponent screwed up here, but they summoned Manad. They summoned Manadium Meek, which I don't know why they conceded right away, but they probably screwed up their combo somewhere. Or, I mean, Astral Loud is a decent enough body on board. And it can't be destroyed by battle anyway, but who the hell knows what their hand was at that point. They could have just left it be, but I guess if he smelled that I was playing Yubel, I mean, I don't really blame you for conceding here. Let's move on to the next duel. Alright, let's see what my opponent has for me here. I'm going second yet again, and I opened with, oops, all hand traps. We do have Spirit Gates into Nightmare Pain, so that is something. But we're going to have to destroy the thing that gives us the extra normal summon. So we need another monster off the top in order for us to do what we need to do. Opponent is thinking really hard. Oh, dear God. Alright. So, boys and girls, you're about to see one of the most interesting things that can happen on Master Duel right now, and that is a Yubel mirror. Surprisingly, that is not what we negate. What we're going to negate is Samsara de Lotus. In the week and a half, I guess. I'm pretty sure it's just a week. In the week that I've been playing with this deck, negating the field spell is a no-go. That is Ash Blossom Bait if I ever saw one. The one that you should negate is Samsara de Lotus, because if they don't get into Spirit of Yubel, they are sitting ducks. And of course, if they do, and of course, if they end up with Phantom of Yubel on board, I mean, that's what Infinite Impermanence is for. Okay, so that means they already have some Samsara de Lotus in hand, so that I was correct in assuming that the target for the Ash Blossom is not Dark Beckoning, is not the field spell, it's Samsara de Lotus. But because we also have an Infinite Impermanence, which we will use now, and I'm assuming, oh right, if we use Imperm on this guy, yeah, negate this effect instead of turn, that means they won't be able to get their they won't be able to have an extra normal summon. Ooh, that is spicy. Yep, saving it from the Imperm using Sharvada there. I'm assuming they wouldn't want to have done that. So they basically that was basically a 2-for-1 for me. Now that they don't have an extra normal summon, I can very freely do what I need to do here. Unless of course they sure they can search that. Again, my target is supposed to be Samsara de Lotus. We're gonna see how far we're gonna get with this, and I guess given that worlds concluded recently, I guess everyone's going to definitely try out Yubel. There's our target. All right. Do you have the Called by the Grave, good sir? Do you have it? Let us see. Do you have Called by the Grave? Do you have Crossout Designator? No, you do not. Alright, now you're going to have to go through your link lines. Let's see. And again, this is why, especially if this were uninterrupted, the combo lines, quote unquote, combo lines for Yubel are not as easy as they look, because it's about managing your once per turns very well, and it's surprisingly really easy to get 4 materials worth of monsters on board and then just fold them all into Appaloosa. Oh my god, I can't wait for that, for the day that oh, they have 2 unchained monsters in their deck. That is spicy. Okay. That is interesting indeed. I'm gonna have to check this guy's build and take a few notes and see if I can make improvements on my build. But I'm assuming they're not going to use Shiama. Yeah, it's Shiama. Let's see, one more monster. Spirit of Yubel is one of them. They're going to be in for quite the surprise when they see that, hey, we're in a mirror match. Alright, let's see if you have your Ash Blossom. And I know they have a Shiama. So we only have 1 unknown. So let us see what's going to happen. Yep, shotgunning that is fine. But you want to know the surprising part, opponent? Because you know for a fact that we're in a mirror match. I shouldn't do this. I should be saving this more for Ash Blossom, but good god, this is hilarious. It's hilarious that I can do this. I can just do this. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, so we get our search. Sad that we won't be able to get our extra normal because of what we're about to do. So we activate that. Then we get the other field spell. Come on. I know you want to. I know you want to. He didn't take the bait. Alright, fine. And now we're going to, as much as it pains me to say it, we're going to have to destroy the Spirit of Yubel that we have in hand. And another thing that you should keep in mind when you're piloting a Yubel deck, stock up your graveyard during your combo turn. You need at least 4, maybe 6, 4 to maybe even at most 6 bodies in the graveyard in order to do what you need to do around these parts. Now we're going to get this, and then because Spirit of Yubel was triggered, we're going to summon OG Yubel, unless of course he has Called by the Grave. Okay, he does not. Alright, then we're going to use that. We're going to summon OG Yubel out, and we got Super Polymerization, Joey. Oh my god, Yogs, we got super polyed up in this business. I don't know why I always pronounce Super Polymerization with Joey Wheeler's accent, but here we are. So he's definitely going to eat away my board and then summon up Loving. Oh, not summoning Loving Defender. Okay, that was a chance to use Loving Defender, but okay then. Discard a card. I will happily summon a feed monster. I'll discard this, and I will summon back the Dark Beckoning Beast. Opponent, this is why you should have used Loving Defender instead. Oh my god. Come on. Do you have any more negates? You know I searched for some Sour Lotus, opponent. Come on. Oh my god. So we do that. And one really funny thing that happens here, because they have monsters on board that are like, and Garura in particular is extremely dangerous against Yubel in particular, because good god, any damage is doubled. So actually I've never even tried that. So for science, we're gonna see what's gonna happen here, and I did a lot of that during my week and a half of playing this deck. I always told myself, I'm gonna do this for science and see what happens, and yes, it happened the way I thought it would. I learned a lot playing with this deck, and it's surprisingly fun. It's a different flavor, and you guys know me. I prefer to play decks that play on an axis that isn't exactly considered normal. So we're gonna put back Dark Beckoning Beast, and we will put back the OG Yubel. Because that's a surprise that we're going to use for much later. Alright. Now we're going to sad that we can't revive the other Yubel. So, and we can't use this, or we can't use this again, unfortunately. So we're just going to go into combat, and we're going to attack into Garura and actually see what's going to happen. If we will be inflicting 3k damage or just a mere 15. So let's see. We do have Nightmare Pain, so... Oh, it is just 15. Alright, it's not 3k, so only if this is attacking. Alright, alright. So we get Yama here. We'll just swing for our 2k points of damage. Come on, we're 500 short, but it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. As much as I want to move further, I don't think we should. Excuse me. We could go into SP Little Knight, but I prefer to have material for that, and we also already use all of the effects that we can use off of here. So yeah, we're just gonna pass. We're just gonna pass to our opponent here, and we're gonna see what's up with them. They're going to be able to attack profitably. They have one card in hand. I'm pretty sure they can. Yeah, they can summon Samsara, the Lotus from the graveyard. And let's see them try to break this let's see them try to break through this mirror. This is going. I'm not going to cut anything out of this, simply because Yubel mirrors are really interesting to watch, because it's just two guys with 0 attack, and they cannot attack either person. It's as simple as that. And we need to. Oh, you're gonna do that. Oh, thank you for giving me free advantage. It's basically a game of who gets to crack first. And the moment somebody cracks, it's not going to be a good time for everyone, unfortunately. We're gonna destroy, actually. Do we destroy that? Or do we just destroy this? Yeah, we'll destroy Spirit of Yubel, and hopefully that stays on board. But I highly doubt it will, so we're gonna see. And we have been gimping their searching since the beginning, although no, a level 10 hasn't a Yubel monster hasn't left their field yet. So yeah, if I had the field spell, I would definitely be rolling in far more advantage than what I am doing here. But we're gonna see. And a funny story, when I finished crafting all of the pieces I needed for this deck, the very first match that I had with this deck is a Yubel mirror, and it's only becoming more frequent now, given that Yubel put up a very strong performance at Worlds. So we're gonna see how my opponent pushes through this. All right, using the on destruction effect of Yama by using Shyamas. Okay, sure. Target a card, then destroy a spell trap on the field. I'm assuming you're going to destroy Nightmare Pain so that you won't be taking any damage. Yep, you'll draw one card, see if you can find an equalizer, and then Yama also triggers, which you will special summon a Fiend. So let's see. They're gonna try. They definitely should, because again, Yubel mirrors are really interesting to watch, because as you can see here, a lot of monsters have 0 attack. So it's a race of who gets to set up Nightmare Pain first, or who gets to set up their link line best. Okay, getting back Sharvara. So let's see, Garura, draw one card. Let's see if you find an equalizer. Although I am not too sure what kind of equalizer my opponent could potentially set up here. Oh. We're gonna see what else they have up their sleeve. I mean, they could just not attack, which is also a choice that they could make. They normal summoned it. Okay, I'm assuming Almirage. Okay, yep. That's usually in the extra decks of Yubels, because it protects a monster from card destruction for the turn. What else are you going to do, opponent? I don't exactly destroy monsters anyway. You literally just left me juicy targets on board. Okay, Unchained Soul of Rage. There we go. This is why there is an Unchained package, because the Unchained Link monsters have non-traditional removal, and it works really well against the Yubels, although they need to get to their Link 3. if they don't get to their link 3, they're not gonna be able to crack through this. And that is also how I break the Yubel mirrors as well. I go into the Unchained Link 3 so that I absorb their monster via that effect. Or rather, I absorb their monster by link summoning them with that effect, and yeah, about what I expected. So they're going to try to fight using that, and let's see you. Ooh, that is interesting. During your opponent's main phase, oh, what do you know? What if opponent, and this is just an if. What if I just immediately go into combat? What if I just immediately go into combat? So that I can, you know, Unchained Soul of Rage can not do its thing. Last chance, last chance. Come on, come on, come on. I know you want to. I know you want to. Come on. I'm just going to go in combat. I'm not going to give you the opportunity to activate Soul of Rage here. It's do or die, opponent. Do or die. Come on. I know you want to. Yeah! Activating it prematurely. Good, 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 good. Ooh, that is spicy. Alright, he's going to get rid of everything after all. Alright, cool, cool, cool. Continue your main phase? Yes, please. And this is the part where we now activate Harpy's Feather Duster. We're going to remove the stuff that he has on board. There we go. So now he's going to be slightly behind. Just only very slightly. Then we'll discard one card. We will discard the extra Spirit Gate. There we go. Then we will revive a level 10, which is just usually Spirit of Yubel. Or do we summon back the OG? I guess Spirit of Yubel. We're gonna get that. There we go. And then we have no more targets in the deck anyway, since we only really run 2 of them. Then let's get the excuse me. We're gonna get the extra Spirit Gate back. Sure. You're gonna banish it temporarily. That is completely fine. And then, so we're going to add. Oh, we'll just add the other Nightmare Pain. And then they're going to attack. I'm assuming. Okay. So we're going to play this, and then we're going to attack by shuffling back the stuff that we have in the graveyard. There we go. There we go. And then you do that. Alright. And we'll just poke in for a measly 2k points of damage. I could use Nightmare Pain to do its thing here, but I'm not going to. We need this negate in order to do what we need to do. Alright, cool. That's not going to exactly help. Because this only destroys the Yubel monsters. That's one thing I learned. One thing I learned the hard way, unfortunately. It doesn't do what you think it does, opponent. Oh my god. So we have a negate. And we're gonna see what's going to happen here. So we'll put Spirit of Yubel here. There we go. Well, my nose is itching. Oh my god. Let me just scratch my nose while I'm at it and wait for my opponent to make a decision. There we go. Let's see what else they're gonna do. Meanwhile, I'm gonna scratch my nose and I'll be back once my opponent does an action. Oh, okay, they're gonna use Grave Scrummer. Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, having Grave Scrummer in the graveyard is also pretty goddamn good. What else? I'm assuming they're going to revive the Samsara Lotus because it's the only one that they can do. Although they can make me activate this and then they activate theirs in response. So for science, we're gonna see if that's exactly what's going to happen, because I haven't seen it happen. Phantom of Yubel negating Phantom of Yubel, so I end up destroying their stuff instead of me destroying my stuff. So there's that. I'm assuming they're going to destroy Spirit and then they're gonna do their thing. Alright, so let's see. I'm gonna scratch my nose again while my opponent does their thing, so excuse me for a second. Okay, so I had to step away for a bit, and I come back to see that my that my opponent set up Terror Incarnate, so he's going to wipe the board, potentially. But otherwise, I'm not exactly dead. Spirit of Yubel will trigger the moment Terror Incarnate wipes the board. Okay, cool. I think he saw that. He saw the line. Alright, I believe he's going to go for... the Access Code Docker line now. And but we're not exactly dead as well. We have ways to get around access code talker, and that's just by I merely need to attack into him in order to do what I need to do. Come on, opponent, come on. I only need to attack an access code talker. Please don't. Alright, cool. Another Phantom of Yubel. Sad that we can't exactly recycle Phantoms of Yubel. Only the field spell does that. It shuffles it back into the deck, but at the very least, I got rid of that. Although the 2 back row is scary, so there's that. I'm assuming he's not going to attack here. Or he could just fold IP Masquerena and SP Little Knight into Access Code Talker, which is also a thing. Alright, cool. He is going to do what? Oh, Unicorn. I don't have that in my deck. But you realize that you don't have anything to discard from your hand. Unless, of course, you're just doing this link line in order to get into... Okay, yeah, it is just a line into Access Muckracker instead. Okay, you have my attention. Why would you do it that way? I don't know why. Or you're just committing Sudoku here. Unless, of course, you don't actually have an access code talker in your specific build. That is going to supercharge a lot of bullshit that I have. So we're going to do just that. We're going to get Nightmare Throne. We're going to select a card in our deck, and we will we're going to add to hand Samsara D Lotus, or we'll just destroy OG Yubel. We're just going to try to push for damage now. No, we will not add Yubel to hand since that was destroyed by card effect. We will activate Yubel, and then we'll see if my opponent has something to say about that. I believe we have another Spirit of Yubel. Yeah, we have another Spirit of Yubel in the graveyard, so we can still inflict 2,000 points of damage and more even. So let's see. Okay, sure. They did already cycle back the other Yubels, so they can still like do their summon chains and whatnot. So yeah, there's that. And then we're gonna do this. Yeah, discard a card, special summon. There we go. We're gonna discard this. And then, unless this is called by the grave. Okay, cool. We're gonna summon this Yubel. And boom, there we go. Do you have something for this? Okay, nothing yet. We could throw a level 10, so we're going to recycle back, unless this is infinite impermanence, and my opponent concedes. All right, that was intense. a lot of Yubel games can get pretty goddamn intense, especially again, like I said, whoever cracks first is the one who's going to lose, and my opponent cracked, unfortunately. I don't know why I didn't just go for access code talker there and just get rid of all of my back row, but I guess his specific build doesn't have access code talker, so that's a loss for him. And I'm going to have to check his build and see what tips I can glean from his strategy. But otherwise, we'll just move on to the next duel. Oh, finally won the die roll for once, and that is an amazing field there, opponent. I believe it is the Traptrix one. Draw phase maxi. No, it's my turn. Come on, game. Alright, let's bait that ash. Bless him. This is a bot, isn't it? We're gonna check their deck. Okay, we're here at my opponent's deck, and no, it wasn't a bot. I guess it was just a guy who bricked so hard they didn't want to test it anymore. But it's Ragnarika Traptrix, which is... Yeah, this is the latest set of cards that came into this game with the latest pack, along with new Ancient Gear support. And yeah, it's pretty interesting to mix the Ragnarikas in this early, because their second wave of support is apparently really good and helps bolster the Ragnarikas even more. And they're basically the tri-brigade of the insects, plants, and reptile types in this game, but they're not exactly doing so hot. But yeah, I guess they just bricked pretty goddamn hard. Didn't really want to fight. Okay, let's move on to the next duel then. Won a die roll again, so let's see what my opponent has. Oh my god, it's a 60 card pile. Alright, let's see what type of bullshit you're on, opponent. We are gonna see. My hand sucks, unfortunately. So what we can do is we're just going to set Now we're gonna set. We do have time. We have time. Because it's a 60 card pile. Who knows what type of combo bullshit my opponent could potentially be on, but on their draw phase, we're gonna see Maxi. All right, let's see what my opponent has for me here. Do you have the Ash? You have a Gamma though, so props to you at least. But now he has to contend with a set called by the Grave and a set Infinite Impermanence. Let's see. And having Psyframe Gear Gamma is indication that they are indeed up to no good. So we're gonna see what else they're gonna do here. Standby phase, main 1. All right. Let's see what my opponent has. Oh, they're synchroing right away. Okay, cool. Going into Axel Synchro. Stardust Doragon. They're gonna special summon that again. Really? No. As much as I actually want to negate it, I shouldn't, because this guy is just a stepping stone. Honestly, this guy's just a stepping stone. I don't think I should do it. I'll just save it for later, and then there are like far bigger targets anyway. Or what I can do is I can banish Psyframe Gear Gamma with Called by the Grave instead of negating Axel Synchro Stardust Doragon here. Okay, cool. I will indeed do that. Wait, does it do it? Yeah, special summons a level 1 or summons 1 level 2 or lower tuner from the graveyard. Yeah, we'll just remove his target then. This may be wrong, but it's a 60 card pile. He could be up to any number of bullshit. So yeah, where's your target now? Let's see you try and sync off. Okay, there it is. All right, Super Heavy Samurai. So this is 60 card synchro. Which flavor of 60 card synchro? We're not. Okay, yeah, okay. Now we know what they're gonna be up to. I'm going to try to fight still. But they do have the one of the pendulums at least. So now I'm going to wait for the other. Let's see if they do indeed get to it. Okay, they do indeed. And then he special summons himself, and then they have access to a 12. So there's that. Okay, yep. And then Big Benkei does a search. Sure, that is fine. Who was the smaller one? Wakaushi. Okay, sure. Then getting the Piercer, I believe. Soul Piercer. Okay. I just missed one word, but okay. There we go. Okay. And then they can make an 8. So let's see who they summon. I believe this is where super heavies can pop off significantly. Just having that. Okay, cool. Do your thing. And then, what the fuck? If it's synchro summon, you can send insect and their plants up to the number of tuners used for synchro summon. Okay, cool. Then Soul Piercer does its thing. Add Super Heavy from deck to hand, sure. And then Wakaushi also triggers. Hold on, let me read this card. I have never seen this. Diabolantes. Synchro summon, you can send, okay, up to the number of non-tuners, so send 1. And then if if you control the synchro summon card, I got a plant or insect, treat as a tuner. I guess we negate it, question mark. This could be completely wrong. We're just going to see what type of chicanery my opponent is going to be capable of if I do indeed stop this. They still have 4 cards in hand, and then they'll have a 5th by the time the Soul Piercer finishes its search. I'm assuming the motorbike special summons itself easily. So we're gonna see what happens from here. I'm assuming not good things, knowing the synchro piles. We're gonna see. Okay, special pendulum that, you pendulum that. Okay, so they're just gonna combo off until something else significant happens. I'm going to just sit back, relax, and watch my opponent jack off. So I'll spare you guys that image, and I'll be right back at my opponent's end board, which might be coming in shortly, because if they're summoning out the other version of Zolkin, yeah, we're probably close to the end, but I'm still not going to make you guys sit through it. So, Synchro Rumble. So yeah, I'll just see you guys at the end. Okay, we're back, and my opponent went for a far cleaner kill. Went for a far, well, I guess you could say cleaner kill than I thought. Hell, I was killed by Stardust Doragon of all things. So fans of GX are gonna be rejoicing. And then he went for Baron de Fleur, and then of course Dispater because fucking Dispater. Yeah, just assembled a lethal amount of damage on board, and I got killed. So I'll see you guys in the next duel. Won the die roll again, so let's see what my opponent has for me here. It's a slightly thicker deck. We have Crossout Designator to protect our searches, so we're gonna see. But first, our Ash Blossom bait. Spirit Gates! And correct, that is indeed the Ash Blossom bait. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna cross out. We'll actually cross out Maxi. Because they already used the Ash, so might as well take out the other one. So we take out Maxi. There we go. Yeah, sure. That should already ring alarm bells that they're not going to be able to do too much anymore. unless it's always those things. All right, cool. That happens. Then we summon the spirit. There we go. And then we're gonna use their effect. Let's see. Imperm, opponent, Imperm, effect Veiler. It's one of those two things. Come on, opponent. Don't blue ball me like this. Come on. You have something, or is your internet connection like ultimately? All right, cool. He does have infinite impermanence. Unfortunately, I have Sharvara. Judai is going to be very happy with what I'm. Well, I mean, Yubel is a part of him, but good God, I don't want to get into the on how dark that lore got over time. So we're not gonna dive into that. If the fan art is any indication, it is slightly, at least the impression I'm getting. I haven't watched GX, by the way, so who the hell knows what's going on in there. But otherwise, I do know that it got pretty goddamn dark. I mean, as with all Yu-Gi-Oh stories. But otherwise, it got pretty dark, and I really need to get into the Yu-Gi-Oh anime, especially the latter ones. Just so that I have far more context for whatever the hell is happening on the cardboard. Now we're going to destroy this. We'll get Grave Squirmer. There we go. And then we'll activate OG Yubel. There we go. Then we'll we'll summon this guy back out. There we go. And then we'll special summon Grave Squirmer. There we go. Come on. Oh, it's starting to lag. There we go. And then, hey, what do you know? Destroy card? No. We're not gonna do that. We don't do that around here. Somebody fiend locked us. Was it this guy? Oh my god, yeah. Okay. I keep forgetting that Sharvara is a fiend lock. Okay. So we can't pop off as hard as I want to. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to fold Grave Squirmer and the Terror Incarnate. There we go. Then we're gonna summon the Phantom. And then we're going to get if this guy's sent to the graveyard, yeah. Or we can just summon Unchained Soul of Rage, which is also pretty goddamn good. So we'll do this. I forgot that Sharvara has a fiend lock. God damn it. But it's something. We will set an Unchained Spell Trap, so we'll put it here. And this is about as good a defense as we can make it. So we're just going to pass and wish our opponent good luck. If they have any. So they're down to 3 cards in hand, and they'll get their 4th. And let's see if their card in hand is a good equalizer or not. I mean, if it's evenly matched, I'll definitely leave the Phantom of Yubel behind. Because it's literally the only way. Ooh! Are you sure about that, opponent? Opponent! Alright. The deck that I used to main, now showing up here. Alright. Alright, Pearly. Let's see what you got here. as much as I want to do that, we're gonna use Unchained Soul of Rage here. I'm not going to use Phantom of Yubel until much later in the Pearly line. Because if they get too many bodies on board, it's not going to be a good time for me at all. We're going to get the Soul of Anguish out. There we go. And we're gonna see if my opponent does still indeed have something here. All right, they do. What the fuck? Oh, right. Some builds of Pearly have a small Dark World package because a lot of the effects that the cards do are discards anyway, and it's discard as effect, so they will trigger the Dark Worlds, and it's free bodies on board. So there's that. But I never personally liked it. I just stuck with the Go Second variants. And I guess this is fine? Or do we just destroy it now? I guess it's fine, especially if they're going to do their things. But if I destroy it, they won't have a body on board for me to attack into. But I guess we should still do it. I mean, we'll find a way around it eventually. So we'll just destroy it here. I'm pretty sure my opponent may be expecting that. I mean, they do have only 2 cards in hand, so we're gonna see what else they're gonna do. So my friend Pearly, yes, and oh, I forgot that he has a trigger. I forgot that he does that. Oh my god. Then we're going to add. I guess we're going to cycle Sharvara again. Yeah, or do we cycle Unchained Soul of Rage again? Well, we could just get some Saladin Lotus again, just as insurance for next turn. And of course, it will also be dependent on whatever we do after the fact. We can even like oh, we already used the thing. All right, cool. Okay, so well, wait, what do they have in their graveyard? Oh dear God, they may just be able to OTK me anyway. They're gonna search for a non-quick play Pearly spell, so that is fine. So my friend Pearly again, and activating this is not once per turn, so that is indeed something. Alright, they'll still be able to do their thing, but they basically just need to get into Noir in order to do what they need to do. And once they get into Noir, then it's going to be a cakewalk from there. So the Pearly combo, quote-unquote combo, will take a while, and I'll just see you guys at the beginning of my turn. Okay, we're back, and one thing I forgot, that Lily needs to activate her effect in order to grab a quick play from the graveyard and then transform into the Pearly that they want. So I stopped that, but they do have a small bit of recovery, but that only really works if they have an Xyz monster. But they don't have an Xyz monster, and we need to inflict more than 8,000 points of damage, which will take a while. And I mean a while. That's going to take forever. Oh boy. So this duel is going to take a grind and a half. No idea when I will be finished, but it's going to be pretty goddamn boring. It's just going to be a back and forth until somebody does something to crack. But otherwise, I'll just be here for a bit, and I'll just update you guys once something else interesting happens. So stay tuned. Okay, so we're now at an extremely interesting point in the game. He has barely anything. I now have something. But I did force him to use all of his materials on Zeus with all of the quote-unquote negations that I have, but I am also pretty goddamn empty. I have no idea how else I'm gonna do this because 1, 2, 3, yeah, all 3 are now in the graveyard. I have no idea if I still even have targets at this point. We're gonna see. I do still have targets, but this only summons from the deck. This summons from the graveyard. Good. Add to hand. Yes, please. There we go. Now, we're just gonna summon him. And I'm honestly more than willing to take damage here. Wait, what's going to... Oh, okay, good. I don't even need to take damage. I forgot I have Almirage. I don't need to do that. So we get Almirage. There we go. And then we'll use Squirmer. There we go. And then we will use OG Yubel to finish this off. Unless, of course, we find a way to recycle the things that we can recycle in this juncture. But we're gonna see, and we're just going to attack as a flex. There we go. Sad that again we literally don't have anything now. Times like this when I wish I have at least even just one pot of what was that pot? The pot that cycles 5 monsters back into the deck, and excuse me, the pot that cycles 5 monsters back into the deck. That would be really useful in this exact juncture right now. But my opponent has nothing, I have nothing, so we're gonna see how the hell this duel is gonna end. He did manage to find a line where after I trigger all of my effects, they use triple tactics talent and they stole my access code talker, and then they use access code talker's effect to banish himself in order to try to destroy one of my stuff on board. But again, I barely have anything left. I believe both of my Nightmare Pains are in my graveyard. I only have access to only one of the Spirit Gates left in the deck. Yeah, I barely have any. My deck is pretty skinny at this point. I have no idea how else I'm going to win here, unless, of course, I mean, my opponent's not that stupid so that he will attack into the into Yubel here in order to basically kill themselves, because Yubel needs to be attacked. And if I wanted to be the one to inflict the damage onto him, he needs to be the one attacking me. And but if I wanted to be the one to take initiative, then I need to have Nightmare Pain on board, but I don't have any more copies of Nightmare Pain. So we're going to see how else my opponent is going to dig out of this. But then again, their graveyard is pretty flush at this point, so getting into Noir is going to be a pretty easy endeavor from here. But we're gonna see. I mean, then again, I did used to play Pearly, so yeah, they're literally going to win by the skin of their teeth here. I tried my best, but Pearly is Pearly. Then again, I do feel like oddly proud that Pearly managed to fight through a deck that is a year ahead of, maybe a couple of years, 3, 4 maybe years ahead of them. And yeah, they're going to use this. They're not exactly immune to being targeted, so yeah, they're going to use Beauty to absorb it. Although I would have preferred that they use the food one instead of this. But yeah, this is definitely going to be the end. We're nearing the end soon. But why are you just attacking? You shouldn't have done that. Oh my god. Oh my god. You can't negate what's not on the board, sir. So there you go. Almiraj says, fuck you, I'm going to prance away. Now you just have Yubel to attack into, and you're going to take 3,000 damage, sir. No attacks are profitable for you in the slightest. So we'll just be in a staring contest until, okay, finally they're gonna do something about Yubel here, and they're getting rid of that. Why? Could have gotten rid of Yubel there, but okay, sure. But I guess that they fear that it might trigger the on leave effect, and then I summon Terror Incarnate, and then it wipes their board nonetheless. What else are you gonna do? SP Little Knight? Okay, sure. You're going to banish my Yubel. That is fine. And then move to my end phase. You're going to opponent. Although I think this only when destroyed. Yeah, okay, sure. That is something. Now they're going. I'm running on empty. They're running on empty. So I'll just get to you guys once something else more interesting happens, because this is going to take a lot longer than I thought. So I'll just see you guys at the end of the duel, whoever the winner is going to be. Okay, we're here at the end screen, and I ultimately lost that last duel because quite literally, I had no Yubel monsters left in the deck. Terror Incarnate doesn't count because he's only ever really useful if I somehow manage to use Yubel's effect to summon him onto the field, or to use the field spell's effect to do so. I had nothing, absolutely nothing. I had ran all of my resources dry at that point, and Pearly, in their infinite wisdom, they can their recycling game is slightly better than mine at that specific juncture. But what can I say about Yubel? Well, it's a meta deck for a reason. They operate on an like I said in the very beginning, they operate on an axis that isn't exactly normal. A lot of their quote-unquote negation is a replacement effect, and not a lot of decks are prepared to do that. However, I am considering adding the pot. Again, the name is blanking off the top of my head once it loads, of course. But adding there we go, Pot of Avarice into the deck might be a consideration for future builds, because you can and will chew through a lot of your deck very, very quickly. But some builds even have prosperity, but a lot of your extra deck a lot of your extra deck monsters are disposable anyway. But sometimes they are needed to help close out games, because sometimes you can't just have opponents who face off against Yubel decks don't necessarily the way to combat them, just don't put monsters on the field, because they will use that against you. Another consideration to have is the Geist Grinder Golem, but a lot of Yubel decks don't really run that thing anymore, because otherwise it's just free link fodder that the opponent can and will use against you. So yeah, this build is about as close as good as you're going to make it. And again, the ratios are pretty stock. Minimum of 5, possibly maximum of 6. Having 3 Spirit of Yubel is more than enough, and then 1 of each of the OG Yubel line is usually more than enough. I am considering running at least 1 Pot of Avarice, just as a hinge, hinge against really grindy games that once that happens, hopefully I will be recovering slightly better than that Pearly game that I just had. But otherwise, you may not even need it, especially once you get to the upper ranks. Granted, Pot of Avarice may just be a necessary evil, depending on who you ask. But otherwise, yeah, this build, quote unquote, is as stock as it can be. Plus minus a few things. Some people don't run a super poly package anymore, but otherwise, yeah, it's pretty powerful. It's a non-traditional way to tackle the meta, and GX players are all the happier for it. So if you guys like what you saw and you're gonna see more of Yubel moving forward, hit like, comment, subscribe, and share this among your friends. And until next time, toodles.